Hello! I was wondering if I might trouble you for a cup of strong black coffee, and in the process engage you with an anecdote of no small amusement.
Hello and welcome to another episode of NerdyVerse here at NerdHerder. I am Jadub,
And Boop.
and we are in a new year, but continuing our same old shenanigans.
New Year.
And
New
we
me.
are continuing our conversations, at least here on NerdyVerse, about a particularly fond and favorite superhero. Recently got a new movie and all that good stuff. Of course, the Spidermans.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Ghost Rider.
No, never. The 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 Spider-Man
The
himself.
Peterman.
We had hoped to end out 2021 with this, but again, the fact that we were able to do any episodes at all during the last couple of months of 2021 was
Mackerel.
impressive to us. And so we just kind of asked you guys to deal with it as we pushed a couple of things back, this being one of them, um, but also just for the sake of being able to enjoy the movie because it was nice. We had plans to see it after my busy work schedule, of course, but it was nice not having to rush through and immediately turn around and talk about it or to
Yeah.
turn it into content. It was nice just to relax and enjoy something for the first time in a little while.
Yeah. It was lovely.
And so now, having had time to steep and stew in the newest addition to the MCU Spider-Man trilogy,
Yeah.
um, we are here to talk about not specifically that. Dun dun dun. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, we teased it before, and we put out a poll and received enough input that also agreed with us that No Way Home just kind of deserves its own
Yeah.
episode, own its own conversation.
It deserves so much.
So
It
many
deserves
awards.
Oscars. It deserves BAFTAs. It deserves so many things.
It's so many things. And so we will include it in our conversation here as we talk about just the life of the MCU Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Um, we've technically got 6.5 films with this character now, and so there's still lots to talk about and look back on. But as far as detailed discussions about talking about that scene and that character and that moment,
Yeah. That's
uh,
gonna have to wait.
that'll be its own episode. So we can just spend the whole time fanning over an
Screaming.
amazing, amazing film. Which, I mean, I really do. It used to be a joke at one point of just like, how is Marvel going to keep one upping themselves this time?
And then they did.
And yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but they have not produced a bad movie yet. And I know someone will cite when I mentioned that like my like least favorite or like my opinion of the lesser like MCU movie is like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But it's like Star Wars where it's like it's still a really good movie. It's just
Not
it's
your sauce.
well, it doesn't do what a lot of films do where it's big. It it
Yeah.
it sets up something, it impacts something, it connects to something. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is just another fun movie with this fun cast of characters. So it's a good movie, but doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't play into the universe around it. So for me, when I'm thinking of like the movie that maybe left something left me wanting for something else was
Hmm.
is probably that,
I get that
but
because
still a good
like
movie.
I have the same feeling about Thor: The Dark World.
That's
It's like
that's fair.
I didn't like it. I liked all the stuff with Loki and Thor being brothers, but that
Yeah, see,
was
I was gonna say, like, retroactively now, I care about that movie more for the character moments,
yes.
but I'll agree it's on the same level where it doesn't really, I mean, other than introducing another Infinity Stone at the time,
Yeah, that was
it
cool.
doesn't do a lot, and it's okay when a film is just good and fun and doesn't, play into a series. It can just be its own decent movie.
Yeah.
And so, and I mean, I love all of the Thor movies. I love everything we've gotten so far, uh, minus the Eternals because I haven't seen it yet. waiting for that to hit Disney Plus, because honestly, being unsure of it, I didn't want to pay for it.
That's fair. That is
I
100%
didn't want
fair.
to go to theaters for that. But uh, as of yet, yeah, Marvel continues to produce bangers after bangers. Hence, No Way Home's success, and hopefully helping the companies, the parent companies of Sony and Marvel, realize for the sake of this story, this character, let's continue. I don't want to necessarily milk it dry. I think there's a right time to end it. I mean, obviously they did it with Iron Man and everything,
Yeah.
but I don't feel like what we get in No Way Home is a ending, a
No.
solid, you're done retirement ending.
What it does is it sets up Spectacular Spider-Man.
It well, I guess I don't know. I never watched
I'm
that.
I'm just saying it would be a good title for the next trilogy of movies, the
It could
Spectacular
be.
Spider-Man
I mean,
trilogy.
obviously he's got no home anymore, so we can't use that
Yeah.
trope.
Me and my
um,
homies.
so, but enough about No Way Home. We got the ending of a trilogy so that we can talk now. We can talk about um, the MCU trilogy, and like I
Yeah.
said, it's actually technically not a trilogy. Um,
No, it's a
Sixology.
a sextology.
Oh no, that's not the right word.
It's
I'm
a
pretty sure.
no, like the grow up. The Latin word for six is sex. Okay.
uh, that doesn't sound right at all. But okay. Well, so yeah, so it's 6.5 technically, and if you're asking, well, what in the heck does that mean? So the half is Iron Man 2, apparently.
Yes.
I still don't know. I mean, I guess
I
you can have
it's
it.
retroactively confirmed.
You can have it. I
Yeah.
don't care enough to argue the semantics of it. It's a cute idea.
It's precious. It
Run
makes
run
sense.
with it. So apparently the kid in Iron Man 2 um is Peter Parker, and hence his obsession and love and ideology of Iron Man and Tony Stark.
Because he's cool.
And then uh technically there's a reference to him in Ant-Man. Um
Yes, there
but
is.
which makes sense because his first real appearance is in Captain America Civil War.
Yes. Very
And
good movie.
by the time they were working on that film, they would have known by then we have Spider-Man. So the reference in 2015 in Ant-Man would have not been as tongue-in-cheek as it seemed at the time. They
Hmm.
like that was a tease, if anything.
Yeah.
But he didn't appear there. He didn't appear until Civil War.
Yes. A very, very good movie.
Probably the best. No, I think I still like Winter Soldier better.
Yes. Winter Soldier is the best Captain America
Captain America
movie.
Civil War is Avengers 2.5, if we're honest,
Kinda.
which is fine. It's fine. But so yeah, so rewind back to 2016. How did you feel? I mean, obviously this was kind of like in the trailers, so
Yeah.
it was a hype moment. It was to pull people into seeing the film. But like,
Yeah.
how did you feel knowing Spider-Man was coming back, or did it hit the same way?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I was already jazzed about Civil War because Team Cap all the way for the rest of my life. I care what no one says.
Mhm,
Um, so just knowing that there was another level of awesome that was coming just made it even better. And the fact that we got a new Spider-Man after what, like 4 years? I was super jazzed about it because I trust the MCU and their casting choices. I think that I would have no reason to, say, "Oh, this is gonna be terrible." So, and I love Spider-Man as a character in general, so of course I was jazzed about it. And the fact that he was on Team Iron Man didn't dissuade me
mhm.
because of course he was gonna be on Team Iron Man.
Oh yeah. Well, again, um, based on everything they set up, uh, he was a big Iron Man fanboy already,
Yeah.
and so uh, I think I don't think it hit me as hard originally because I didn't
Mhm.
realize how big of a deal this was.
It's a huge deal.
Um, I really enjoyed these movies, and they'd already proven at that point that Marvel really knew what they were doing with film.
Mhm.
And so I guess I was just very much in the mode of
Yeah.
this is going to be cool. This is awesome. This is happening. But it wasn't like, well, no, at any point, like, well, I guess not at any point. There was a contract, but I feel like if they really wanted to, they could have at any point. Sony could have pulled out and been like, no, this is our character, and we say no.
They tried at one point.
Well, because Marvel tried to get more money out of it. And my thing is, Marvel has all of these other successful characters in films. They don't need to worry about money.
No.
I don't know why you would. So the deal for I know No Way Home. I don't know if this was what the deal was for all of the films, but for that they provided 25% of the budget and got 25% of the sales.
Mhm.
And I think they crossed $1 million in box office. I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And so it's like when you really think about it, dude, you made back more than you put in. You're going to make even more on other characters and other things. Like, come on, like I really wish and hope, and I guess this is like thinking forward. I really hope they take the mindset of doing this for the fans,
Yeah.
not necessarily doing it for the profits. Because again, you've got all these other moneymakers.
And they are going to shake them.
So I didn't really think about the context of how we got this character and what it meant. I was excited. Um, and obviously with Civil War, we don't get much.
No, but what we do get is very, very good.
Yeah, and so I do include this as an appearance because I mean he has a full on fight with several Avengers at
Yeah.
that point.
Cleans up
Um,
shop. Yeah.
it connects right into his first appearance where apparently he was filming a home video
Yes.
during the whole thing.
Of course he was,
And
because he's a teenager.
yeah, like I appreciate again, like everything we got in Civil War was awesome, and but I appreciate more so that it led to getting a full-on character out of him with the trilogy that we got because
Mhm.
Tom Holland is a really great Peter Parker Spider-Man combo, I think.
And we get, the trend happening with uh, Falcon getting his butt kicked by insect-themed heroes,
Right, yes, for
which
some
I
reason
enjoy.
he can't handle insects. Um yeah, because I don't believe we see anything of Peter Parker in Civil War.
We do. There's the scene,
Oh, that's
yeah,
yeah. There's the first scene before the airport,
yeah,
which I mean, such a good way to set up the character
yeah.
that we already know. We don't need the whole thing.
No,
We don't need a lot of crazy exposition.
because you know who Spider-Man is.
I love that it's just very much. I saw you on YouTube. I think I can upgrade your setup here,
Mhm.
and yeah, like it jumps right in, and I think that was the best way to handle it.
Yeah,
And I like this trend of Marvel doing that with characters where it's like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
we're
You know
he's here
Hulk.
now, like just be
Yeah.
happy. Um, but what's interesting is uh, kind of getting into his trilogy, how many times we do get pillar moments, key moments through dialogue and through conversation
Mhm.
uh, that otherwise a few years prior we would have gotten a whole film about.
Yeah, I hate to already jump to No Way Home, but we don't need to see Gwen die again.
Oh yeah. Well,
What
I mean,
what's
I don't think
important
that's really jumping to it.
No, but, like, you know what happened, you saw the movie, you
Hmm.
saw, like this was another part that made me tear up was when, uh, Peter catches MJ.
Which one? Yeah, no,
Yes,
I know.
Peter
Which
too.
when I know I remember because I was not spoiled on the Spider-Mans.
I was.
Uh, I in the back of my mind was always hopeful, but at the same
Yeah.
time I was also like,
Oh, it did
it,
not take an ounce of the hype away
oh well,
when
I'm sure it
Garfield walked
didn't.
out of the thing.
But what was nice was there was a moment in the trailer where we see MJ falling, and I thought in my head of like, man, one reason I hope that the other Spider-Men show up is because that would be a perfect Andrew Garfield moment,
Yes, it would.
and it was.
It was fantastic.
Um, well, and I don't even think there's the context of Gwen yet in the Marvel
No.
universe. I think that could be if we go further, that could be a character introduced. I think that would be uh, interesting to add a little bit of relationship dynamic
Yeah.
because things are so ambiguous with No Way Home, and so. Um, but yeah, like there's so many things we know make a Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and that's what's so great about No Way Home is it directly acknowledges that these moments make you who you are, and that's why people love you.
Mhm.
Therefore, although they love you for it, they don't need to see it endlessly. Like we don't need to
Yeah.
repeat it. We don't need to recast Uncle Ben again. We don't need to go through these moments again. And if anything, the moments we're going to give you are going to enhance and kind of reshape the things we think about you.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be exactly what you expect Spider-Man to go through
Yeah.
in these films, and I think that's what helps it stand out and stand on its own. Is it's not just a rehash of something we've gotten before.
Mhm.
It feel all of and especially when you do compare them all three together, they all feel so different and independent. And at the end of this trilogy, I think all valid and earned.
Agreed.
So Spider-Man: Homecoming,
Yes, good movie.
which on the nose title there, Marvel.
Well, yeah. It's supposed to be a teen movie from the 80s, man.
Apparently, it's just funny, and I did not expect them to come like to continue the home trend.
Yeah.
But it was funny. I like it. Spider Man has come home to Marvel, and they decide that how they're going to handle him is have him go up against the most ridiculous
The most
and
ridiculous
geriatric villain.
geriatric. I swear to God.
Don't talk about him that way. Um, yeah, the Vulture. Why
The
not?
okay. My mind was blown when I realized, oh, we're doing the Vulture in
See,
the
mine
trailers.
wasn't. I was
Because
just like,
I
oh, they're gonna mess this up.
I love the Vulture so much as a character because he's so weird.
See, well, in like the comics and the shows, yeah, when he's some like ridiculous old man in a
Yeah, Mr. Burns with
bird suit,
wings.
yeah, like it, and a bird suit, not a cool wingsuit, not this cool stuff
Yeah,
we've come up with,
but the
like a bird suit.
but the reveal of Michael Keaton.
Absolutely, but it was more so for me, like I didn't expect them to be able to make a crazy character like that work. And I think
And
this
he
was
did.
another solid moment where I mean this was on the same level of Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, where it's like, holy cow, you really can take any Marvel character and make them good in film.
Mhm.
Okay. Challenge accepted, I guess.
Exciting.
Because yeah, I didn't like the Vulture. The character is a stupid concept in general, and he's meant to be that ridiculous one where it's just like, ugh, this guy again. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many villains of Spider-Man that are the crazies. It's just like that's why you're the neighborhood Spider-Man. You deal with the crazy people while they're up here dealing with world
You're
dominators and
gonna
all
deal
this
with
other stuff.
Taki's guy.
Like,
Like,
what are you gonna do to Thanos? Web him? Like, come on. Although he does contribute,
yes, he does. He
but
does very
it's a
well.
group effort for sure. Uh, but yeah, Michael Keaton, great casting.
Fantastic
He's good at
casting.
everything he does, and
Well, he's
so
Batman.
and I like this gruff New Yorker, kind of almost small time gangster vibe he's got to him. Of we run these streets with this is our business, this is how we do things. Um, and almost moralistic because it's just like that he does this for his family,
Yeah.
he does this for his livelihood, and so it's almost like your business is illegal but I kind of respect your values. um, to the point when we're ending it you want him to come back, you want more from him, which if Morbius ever releases apparently we will get more of him.
We'll see.
um, but yeah, I really appreciated them taking this kind of nonsense character. Because again, like if you hear a Spider-Man movie's coming out, who are the top three characters you think are going to be the villain?
Green Goblin,
Uh-huh.
the Rhino,
No.
Venom.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to start strong out of the gate, yeah, go with Venom.
Yeah,
I would have said like Doc Ock for sure.
definitely Doc Ock.
Um,
And any three from the Sinister Six.
I really think, I mean, obviously as we get toward in No Way Home, we see the iconic characters. Like
Yes.
when you can't choose, you throw all of the iconic characters in there. The difference is they did it right in No Way Home for sure.
Yes, they did, big
Um,
time.
but yeah, like you expect these very household villain names, and they decided the Vulture, and I think it was the best way to go,
Yeah.
especially considering the story of the first film being about look, there's no Spider-Man without Peter.
Yeah.
You know, Iron Man literally in passing this story, this lesson he learned later in life of like retroactively for me, this made the I am Iron Man thing better because what seems like a prideful like, of course I want the fame and glory. Why
Mhm.
would I not admit I'm Iron Man? Do you know how much clout this is going to give me? Um, I see it now more as, and it could very well be whatever you interpret it as. But with this, I see it much more of a no. You want Iron Man? You have to take me too. I
Yeah.
am Iron Man. You can't have Iron Man without me. You can't have Stark Industries without me. And this is what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And I see him in passing that to Peter of like, look, you can't you can't go out there and save little Nancy and her churro and fail at social studies. Like you've got to get both right
Yeah.
because you are both. You can't just be Spider-Man and you can't just be Peter either. And so I thought that was a really good starting point for the character.
Yeah, and can you imagine if Tony was still alive during that wish? He would just, "You did what?"
Oh man. Well, I almost like feel like the only reason he can do that is like there's two people, well, three people really. Sorry, Ned. There's three people really that he cares
You better be
enough
sorry.
about where he wouldn't do something like that to hurt them. Uh, Tony, Aunt May, and MJ, and he's lost 2 out of 3. So at
Yeah.
that and with the promise of you're still here, I can fix this with you. I know I can because it's kind of that like soulmate vibe of like it's gonna
Yeah.
happen. We're gonna end up together again. And so, but yeah, I don't think he could have made that wish if Tony was still alive.
No, because Tony would have showed up and, like, picked him up from the scruff of the neck like a kitten and been like,
Right.
"No."
Um, and so, but yeah, I really love what went from a very cute like, okay, this is for story. He gives him the suit. He gives him
Yeah.
this because Peter's smart, but he's still a teenager with limited resources. So
Mhm.
yes, he can make web shooters, but he can't make a suit. He can't necessarily be on Avenger level. I love that his basic suit still comes with Iron Man tech.
Yeah.
You know, it, it justifies him being involved in these bigger moments because it's not just a jumpsuit and web slinging. He's
Mhm.
got a full arsenal. He's got an AI assistant. Like all of these details are there to help him be a better hero.
Exactly.
And so when you add on top of that, it's just like, oh, okay, Tony makes Spider-Man. But when you get to the point of like, no, like Tony equips him, but ultimately
Yeah.
Tony helps Peter be Peter.
Exactly. And the moment that he fully becomes Spider-Man, one could argue, is when he's crushed under the building,
Yeah. What?
which is such a fantastic scene.
Yeah. Very much a look within yourself. Like
Yeah.
you have to do this. Like Peter has to do this.
Yeah. Come on,
Um,
Spider-Man.
I mean, again, like they show how they know how to do well, which I don't think we were ever worried about the first film. I don't think we were ever worried about, oh, are they going to get Spider-Man right in the MCU? I mean, like I said, I had my withholdings about the villains, but
Mhm.
overall, I expected them to get it right. It was as every film progressed, as we got more Spider-Man, is where I got worried because eventually they always mess it up by the end. I feel. Um, by Spider-Man
Yeah.
3 or by the Amazing Spider-Man 2, you kind of squash any good you've built up for me. And so, but they continue to do well.
Absolutely. And redeem those villains that were in the other ones.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Which
Redeem on several different levels.
redeem the lizard really, because I felt like Max, I felt like Electro was always
Yeah,
really solid,
he was a good character.
and I think that Jamie just played him well.
Mhm.
I do see a lot of differences in his acting in
Mhm.
No Way Home, but I also don't care because it's still good.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's still Jamie
you know
Foxx
what?
being funny and doing great.
Exactly, I'll accept. So we got 2 movies before our next Spider-Man standalone.
Speed-Man.
We get Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, which
Yes.
these are on the same level of Civil War, where they aren't Spider-Man centric, but he does play a big part. Um, and it's almost the reverse of
Hmm.
now we see Peter kind of impacting Tony.
Yeah, if
Um,
he hadn't hitched a ride on the ship, I don't think Endgame would have happened.
right. Well, and I don't think Tony would have gone. Yeah, I don't think his whole character arc would have been the same because arguably, like, what was worse than Tony getting included in the snap was losing this person that you've come to care about and hope
Hmm.
does better than you. Like, you know, it's not even a just I see myself in Peter. It's very much this I see him being better than I ever could be.
Yeah.
And like seeing that quote unquote get wasted, like that gone. Effect when they had no idea how to, you know, undo this, solve this, stop this. That was effectively it.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I can see why Tony takes the route he does of turning inward, going super selfish, secluding, and kind of reserving his happiness for himself and everything. Um, and then, I mean, in game, he's really just there to kind of help with the glove
Yes.
situation. uh,
And be protect by the female
yeah,
Avengers, which
Captain
was
Marvel. I
fantastic.
love that scene of
It was so great, especially just
just
him
hi,
laying.
ma'am. I'm Peter. Hi, Peter. I do. I love that because I mean, you got to figure this was quite an upgrade from obviously Homecoming and
Hmm.
even Civil War. Like he really was out of his element here the entire
Big
time.
time.
We get great Star Wars references in Infinity War, of course.
Have you ever seen this really old movie called The Empire Strikes Back?
I love it. And but yeah, he's kind of just there, I think. And I think that's the point because when we get into Far From Home, the second film, I think that's what he's dealing with is, wow, I wanted to be a hero so bad. I got those moments and I lost my mentor. The world is completely different and it's just kind of this weird, I don't want to say a crisis of faith. It's not as big as some other
No.
times for the character where it's like, do I really want to be Spider-Man? But it's definitely up there of like, wow, I think I need to sort out how I'm gonna do all of
Yeah.
this. Because I mean, you know, when you can casually bring up in conversation, yeah, I fought an alien on Earth and in space.
Yeah.
Um, you know, you kind of really rethink, wow, I'm still in high school.
Yeah. And if I can say there was only one thing missing, I wish that there was a moment of them looking at him and being like, "You are a child."
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really acknowledge they brought back young Peter,
Yeah.
Peter as he was meant to be in high school, and played very appropriately.
Yes.
Um,
Done very well.
and I think that's how you also do well to set up. Why should I be invested in building up Spider-Man
Hmm.
again? Like, shouldn't he just already be a hero? Can't we just get to that point? But the way you make it interesting is by making it an immature, and I say that lovingly, but an immature character.
Yeah.
He's got to grow up. What we're seeing in his trilogy of films is him growing up.
Too
Literally,
quickly.
well, I mean, literally, the ending of No Way Home is him. You know, he's moving into his own place. It's this story
Yeah.
of like you're on your own. You've had your parents. You know, your whole life. You've had these experiences. You've had your friends. Now you don't have those things. Now it's all you, buddy.
Hmm.
Um, and it's literally this going to college, coming of age story. It's real. It's really well done in three parts of seeing him grow up uh, and really now being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like,
I have a question.
sure,
So, everyone who knows that Peter Parker is Spider Man has had their memory erased. Does
yes.
that include the AI?
In his suit,
Yes, because
no,
he's got
because
a
I
new
don't think
suit.
I don't think it could affect the AI because it's
I
not a
don't.
person.
I don't think so either. So does Vision remember? Well, Vision's dead, but does
That would be
Nouveau
interesting.
Vision?
I mean, technically, he has a soul because isn't his the Soul Stone?
Yeah, but he
So,
doesn't have that anymore.
that's true.
It's New
Hmm.
Vision. who will very likely come back at some point.
Interesting. I kind of would like a moment where Vision's the only one.
I would love that.
It's going to be a repeat of that. He picks up the hammer. It's like, all right, let's go. And it's just
Or
like, wait.
like
What?
he goes to pick up Mjolnir and just
Right.
I would love that. I want to know more about New Vision.
Oh yeah. Well, it's definitely it has to be coming soon.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
but yeah, I'd actually kind of like that, a moment of just like, hi, I'm Peter. It's like, I know.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Um I would love that because I love when Vision is the outside in joke like
Yes.
that. Um and so yeah, I really enjoy Far From Home.
Sorry. Keep bringing
No,
it back to New Home.
you're fine. It's conversation. That's what we're
Yeah.
supposed to do. And so, and a good point for you guys listening. Let us know what you think as we're going through. Hit us up and join the conversation.
Yeah.
Um, I do. So going again from the ridiculousness of a character like Vulture, I appreciate the restraint that they pulled out characters that didn't need to be rehashed.
Yeah.
Like we've gotten a really good Green Goblin, we've gotten a really good Doc Ock, we've gotten a really good Sandman.
And there's no one else that can do it.
Yeah, like it's just like you're not going to outdo that.
No.
Don't try. So instead, use these other characters. The Vulture and now Mysterio.
Mysterio, who I wanted desperately to be played by Bruce Campbell, but I guess Jake Gyllenhaal will do fine.
Maybe in the next one. Maybe
I
from.
hope so.
It would have been funny.
It would have been so
A
funny.
multiverse cameo
Oh
from
man,
Bruce Campbell.
if like when the cracks happened and like a Mysterio showed up, takes off his helmet, and it's Bruce Campbell. That would
Right
have been incredible.
now, I mean, my thing would be, I don't think I could take him as seriously in this plot
No.
because like the whole point is he's supposed to be convincing people he's from another dimension,
Mhm.
which wow, called it. That was going to happen later.
Yeah.
Um multiverse. They've been
Multiverse.
setting it up for a while. And so
They've been setting up scrolls. They've been setting up
oh,
multiverse.
yeah,
Everything.
absolutely. Which they tease at in No Way Home of just like
Mhm.
Nick Fury's been gone for a long time, buddy.
Mhm.
Um, I guarantee a lot of audience members were Peter in that moment of like, wait, whoa, what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The people who didn't stick around
right.
for
Watch,
end credits.
just wait for Secret Wars.
Please.
Um, and so yeah, he's supposed to be this like BS character of like, hey, from another dimension, I have all this magic and elemental things are coming. I can't think of what he was going for in the long game of like, how are you gonna keep this up 5 years later?
Yeah.
Like, I know your goal was to take over, get more Stark technology and whatnot. Like, but then
What was the end game?
it, yeah, where was it going, Quentin? Jake Gyllenhaal, uh,
Jahak
uh,
Gyllenhaal.
which I thought he did a good job.
He was fun. He's great at playing douchebags.
Because he played well a character that believed his own crap,
Mhm.
and then a character that was literally the biggest man baby.
Yes.
Bruce Campbell playing, I wouldn't have believed him from the get go.
But it would
As
have
soon
been
as he takes
fun to
off the helmet, it's
watch.
just like groovy. I can't believe you. You are not from another dimension, sir. You are from Hollywood. But I thought that was a good way of, which was funny because we just recently for funsies put on the old Spider-Man animated series. The
Yeah.
first episode is Mysterio.
Was it the first episode or was it
Oh
like
no, the first episode was the lizard.
Yeah.
The second
The
episode, I
second or
think.
the third?
So what I get, so praise to the Amazing Spider-Man for quoting the original
Yes.
first episode, but yeah, one of the earlier villains there. But yeah, it's just the straight up like Hollywood effects. Like, oh darn, I got caught by the Spider-Man. Now I'm
Mhm.
out to get him
I'll get you
as
next time,
Mysterio.
Gadget.
Yeah, it's
Next
just very
time.
goofy. But and that's why I say like the original plot was much more. No, I'm just going to do this to ruin Spider-Man's life,
Yeah.
which retroactively
Mhm.
does happen. I do hate that Quentin died. Maybe not. Maybe uh,
Maybe it was just another trick.
could be. They could save that one for later because there is a bad habit of killing off villains too fast. Like we don't
Hmm.
get any more Red Skull. Technically, he's trapped on some dimensional plane.
Yeah.
He's not coming back.
His hubris.
Curse you, Hugo Weaving. Um, so like, there's so many cool characters where it's just like, so that's what we're gonna do. I mean, even the Mandarin to a point where it's just like we didn't get the Mandarin,
Hmm.
and I'm partially good with that because I love what we got, but it's also like, but
We got the
but
new Mandarin
but no
though.
Mandarin. It's just like we didn't get this big bad evil villain. We got a good version, but we only get it for this movie, and it kind
Hmm.
of makes me sad.
So
Um,
far as we know.
True. Well, Mandarin's definitely dead, but for Quentin Beck, yes. As far as we know, he appears to be dead by the end of this. Um, and and again, I love how they took a ridiculous villain with a ridiculous backstory and made him compelling and interesting, even if I couldn't see him keeping this up
Yeah.
long term.
It was a good. It was a good villain.
It worked for what it was necessary for, which was to kind of go through this moment with Peter of just like, because I mean, he gives up
Hmm.
the last thing Stark gave him. Like he gives up this like this mantle of responsibility. You know, that was the whole thing. Is you were being inherited this hero ship from Tony,
And
and
he didn't want it.
yeah, here he is seeing the cost, and he's like, nah.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you can't just give that away. You know, he comes back in the end, and kind of recommits himself to his cause and to
Hmm.
being Spider-Man and the hero. And just as soon as he commits to being Spider-Man, then the whole world, of course, learns of it.
Yeah.
Which
Ruins everything.
ironic, you know, really putting to the test. Are you? Well, now you can't not be Spider-Man, but are you sure you want to be Spider-Man now?
Exactly.
Um, and so, and I like that if No Way Home follows directly after that scene
Hmm.
ends because there was no breathing room. Like there shouldn't have been. Like you have to immediately deal with the consequences of that.
Yes. Consequences of your own actions.
Um, and I will say, like, it worked for me bringing in Doctor Strange. It's still a little weird.
I get you. But like
What?
we had to set up multiverse of madness for one thing, but
Yeah,
also you have to have Uncle Strange.
right. Well, yeah, it was obviously multifaceted
Hmm.
in its intentions and everything. But I guess for me, it was, and I will say, I appreciate what we got was a little different than what I expected because the trailer set it up like
Hmm.
Doctor Strange being completely irresponsible and just being like, "Nah, we're gonna do this,"
No.
and it wasn't quite like he had a responsible plan for accomplishing the point.
Yes.
Like, I don't want people to know I'm Spider Man. Like, it wasn't a completely ridiculous. Because my whole thing was like, how are you gonna mess up like that?
Hmm.
Like after you've proven your level of intellect and power, like you're going to be one of the big ones moving forward, and you're really just going to be like, nah, this spell will probably work. It definitely didn't play out that way, and I
Yeah.
appreciated that because that had me worried overall.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good. It was a good plot point
Hmm.
for him getting distracted because I know how that is.
Hmm.
Because
Right,
ADHD
right,
constantly. If anybody breathes in my area when I'm trying to do something, it's gonna mess up.
right.
But like it was a very funny scene. That was well set
Yeah.
up.
Well, and it makes more sense that Peter messed it up than Doctor
Yeah,
Strange did a bad spell.
exactly.
Like that, I'm okay with that, and obviously, I'm okay with everything that we got because of it.
Hmm.
And like you said, it sets up multiverse of madness, which I'm very excited for.
Yes.
Um, I'm excited for this realm of Marvel we're going into, where it's the idea of we've got to break it to make the next phase,
Yeah.
um, because that opens up so many possibilities, not only for existing characters but for new characters. It creates opportunities to not necessarily undo very specific moments in the timeline, but it does get a chance to say, let's try again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily want them to redo much, but it's just the idea of characters could come back.
Yeah.
What if moments could happen of, well, this changed and now Killmonger is back, or
Mm-hmm.
like, is this the way we get a new Black Panther? I don't know. Like, it's just a lot of implications.
Yeah.
I would be very happy with Michael B. Jordan coming
Yes.
back,
Yes. 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 Yes.
um,
Yes. Because
and
he's not
and
anti-vax.
getting this, yeah, and getting this second chance life.
Yeah.
I don't want it to undo T'Challa. Obviously, I don't want a story that gets him a good continuation at a bad cost, if
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. I would like him back because he was too good to waste. Again, added up to Mysterio, uh, added up to the Mandarin and Killmonger. Shouldn't have
Yeah.
killed him.
Shouldn't have killed him.
Dang good character. Finally get him in a good superhero movie, and
Yeah.
eh,
It would
eh,
be interesting if M'Baku shows back up and takes over the mantle.
a lot of people want that, but like I feel like that would be a weird like because he comes from a certain tribe. Like I don't know how the class and culture works there. Of can someone not from that family?
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems like a family trait, like his father and his father and his father, and supposedly his sister. But like it seems like this family
Yeah.
is the Black Panthers. That's why I say like Killmonger was of that family. They were cousins, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and so because his
I think.
his dad was the brother of his dad, right?
I think it's been a long time since I watched the movie because it makes me sad.
So he has enough blood and right to the throne. I mean, that was the plot, I think. So
Mm-hmm.
like he could come back and he could be Black Panther. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
I mean, and it would be this thing of just like he's his own character.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would just be interesting. Uh, Total side quest there,
That's fine.
but yeah, like the setup between Loki and this of
Mm-hmm.
just the universe is branching and it's got all these new possible threads um, that can connect and reconnect and change in any unknown way. It really takes a lot of restraint off of Marvel because when you look back, obviously you see in the likes of Iron Man and Captain America and Thor, they grounded the comic bookishness of this.
Yes.
Bookishness.
Bookerishness. Yes.
Shaken, not stirred. Um, like it's yeah, we've gotten Ant Man now. Yeah, we've gotten Doctor Strange. We've gotten the weird ones now, but we our roots are in grounded. Like we wanted it to be a good movie. We wanted it to be an action movie. Like and so this really takes off the restraints of like, no, we can do the weird stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
We can do Galactus. We can do these big things.
I want to see a Silver Surfer
Oh
played
my
by Doug
gosh.
Jones exclusively.
Yes. It would be amazing. Uh, so many possibilities are now open to them, not just with the character of Spider-Man, but also just in general,
Mm-hmm.
thanks to the implications of Spider-Man. And so, while
It's about the implication.
right. I really want, I know Tom Holland has also said, like, he doesn't want to do this forever, and I get that. Um, but like I said, my thing is No Way Home, I don't feel like is a definitive ending.
No.
And I know it's not supposed to be, but I mean, like, in general, I don't feel like that's the place to leave that character.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny? This is a complete like headcanon what
Hmm.
if instead of Garfield showing up when Ned opened the portal, you just see Wade Wilson
Right?
just peek his head in and like,
I
"Hi
mean, we
guys."
do have that. That is the one
'Cause
outlying universe
he
yet to be
knows.
combined. Oh yeah.
He knows who Peter Parker is.
And that's the thing is he's meta, so
Yeah.
he'd absolutely acknowledge everything. So in addition to Vision, so in addition to Vision, Deadpool is the only other one
Yes.
who knows. Um,
He knows who Peter Parker is. He doesn't care.
yeah,
Is
I
the point.
really hope this next phase brings all those things in. I want Fantastic Four. I want mutants. I want Deadpool. I want everything to continue the way that and get the success that Spider-Man has gotten.
Mhm.
Marvel and Sony working together and listening to the fans are doing really good with the characters they own.
Yeah.
That's why I do want to see Morbius. Like I'm not upset with the film because of the film. I'm upset with the fact that it just won't, like, stop promising dates.
Yes.
Just say it'll get out when it gets out and stop disappointing people. Because
Exactly.
at this point, it's really hard for me to care about this movie
Mhm.
that's been 2 years coming.
I get that, and that was what happened with Black Widow, was that
Exactly.
it had been promised for so long that I just
And that's the
kinda
thing
stopped.
is that's why it was this idea of, all right, let's stream it and limit the theater run. Like, at least get something out of it.
Mhm.
But like, I don't know. It frustrates me when I want it to work, and I hate the idea that it's not going to work because people are disinterested
Yeah.
2 years later in getting this movie. I want these things to work because I love where these stories and these characters are going. It's great entertainment. It's meaningful stories. It's good content. And so, yeah, why would I want more?
Mhm.
Open up the gates wide and include everyone. Like, there's so many characters and so many stories yet to be told that can be so good, be so meaningful, be so representative. Um, and the idea that the gate is still kind of small because of company influence and just big wig conversations and all this other stuff. It's just, let Spider-Man be a lesson in taking chances, doing wild and crazy things, and letting these meaningful things happen because of it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we've gotten finally a successful Spider-Man trilogy.
Yes. And
And
now all 3 of them have a good 3rd movie.
exactly. And so, uh, with rumors abound, of course, but and we don't really like to get into a lot of it, but I did see that supposedly, although this was the last film on the contract, there was another slated appearance of Tom Holland's Spider-Man somewhere.
Mhm.
And so where that might end up,
Who
who
knows?
knows? And like I said, he's not interested in doing this for the rest of his life, and I don't think he has to. But I do think we can reach a better ending.
Mhm.
And I think if there's a chance, I hope Marvel and Sony agree to doing it.
Yeah.
Um,
I hope that he does it long enough to pass on the mantle to Miles Morales.
I think that's the right thing, right? I think that's the best because I mean, obviously that's what Tony did. Like, that's how you retire a character. They don't necessarily have to die. They don't have to necessarily do it into old age, but they have to pass it on because there's always a need for characters and heroes like this.
Mhm.
Um, there's always a need for kids to experience stories like this and to see themselves in these characters and hopefully be better people for it. There's always a need for these comfort stories that help us have hope and see good in ourselves and in people in the world because everything else is bleak. Like, there's always a need
Yeah.
for the hero. And so if Tom Holland is going to end it, and if this Spider-Man, if Peter Parker is going to be done in the MCU, it has to pass on.
Yeah.
It has to go to someone. Um, and yeah, I think they've already got the bones of setting up Miles Morales, obviously,
Yeah.
thanks to Homecoming and everything. So absolutely, let's go there. Let's do that. Um, because that's really the beauty of all of this is there's always going to be another one.
Mhm.
Although endings kind of are sad and suck, all of these characters are eventually going to reach an ending point. Uh, but the good thing is they're going to pass it on, and
Exactly.
that's part of the whole point of these life lessons is,
We are what they grow beyond.
yeah, give it away. You've learned these things and you've done these things and you've lived your life so that you can give it to somebody else
Mhm.
and help somebody else have what you have. And so I love it. And so we have a lot more to say about No Way Home. We talked a good bit about it, included it here, because you can't talk about the trilogy without talking about the ending. And
Exactly.
so, but as far as a full conversation of our thoughts and feelings, our broken hearts of No Way Home,
Yes.
that'll be an episode following this one. It might be this week. It might come out next week. It's just going to depend on things, but it is forthcoming. And so, if you've seen it and want to hear our thoughts about it, then be on the lookout for our next episode. Also, let us know your feelings and thoughts. We're well outside, I think, the spoiler window
Yeah.
of Spider-Man
I
now.
think so.
It's been almost a month. It's been about 3 weeks or so. So it's definitely, if you haven't seen it, it's already been spoiled for you. I feel like,
Mm-hmm. Big time.
especially if you're listening to a dang podcast. So, but let us know your Spidey thoughts
What do
on
your
the
senses tell you?
MCU trilogy. How do you think it's going to continue? Will he come back? Will he won't? Uh,
Willy
you
Wonka?
tell us. And we'll be back to talk more Spider-Man and more Star
Yes.
Wars here soon. And also just Happy New Year.
Yeah. You know what you're gonna have to do now, John?
What?
You're gonna have to watch Venom.
No. Oh well. Sorry. I was preparing myself for something Nicolas Cage. So no.
You're gonna have to watch Venom.
That's fine. I'm not avoiding it out of spite or anything. It's just not it's not presented the opportunity. I had someone like heckling me because it's just like how
It was me. I
because
was
I
heckling you.
talked about like I'm wearing the dang shirt. I talked about like my love of Venom and everything, and they were heckling me of just like, oh man, well why haven't you seen it then? If you really like it, first of all, step off, you bumping grass hoe. Like calm down. You don't decide my fandom.
Exactly.
And second of
Get
all,
him.
it unless you're buying the movie for me, I'm not. I haven't had the opportunity.
Yeah.
That's all. Like
I'm
I'm
you
not
gonna have
against
it.
it. Um, I will say I was entertained by the first extended look at the character because I've only seen the trailers. I
Mhm.
literally haven't seen anything of those movies. So the like 30 seconds with him at the end of No Way Home was the most I've seen.
Which sets up Venom
Oh
in
yeah, we
I'm
didn't even talk
so
about that, but
excited.
we will in
We
the
will.
next episode. So, and yes, we will get to Venom. Leave me alone. We'll get there.
The more you keep away from watching Venom, the more I'm gonna talk about Ghost Rider. I hope you know that.
Well, I will hurry up and watch it then,
There you
because
go.
that's one thing I will not experience again, and we will not talk about ever,
See,
ever, ever, ever on
the
this
thing
show.
about Ghost Rider
No,
is that it's the first canon appearance
let
of Mephisto,
let me stop you there.
and it's just a good movie.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You know, this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.